Okay. And like you are gonna graduate on 5th of March or maybe 5th of February. Keep up, guys. Time is flying. It's been already
February?
Yeah, February 5th or March 5th. I'm not sure. Because sometimes it takes like few more weeks to prepare, you know? Like exactly 6 months will be on 5th of February. Yeah. All right. So can you hear me, online students?
Hello, yes.
All right. All right, it's being recorded. Next. Do you all have, can you see my screen?
No.
Okay, let me share it. Okay, now it's shared. Next is this, guys. Maybe you have few questions, guys, before we start the class.
We just talked about abstraction.
Abstraction?
Yes. 4 of us different ideas for abstractions. I want to abstraction interface are all similar, but someone is not. That's why it's possible. Can you just give brief example?
Yeah, I will explain, even not briefly, maybe in details. Maybe some of you already know. Let's first start with this. What is abstraction in Java? I have a list of questions for you.
Cannot be instantiated, but it may have some abstract methods.
Yeah, but here you answer another question. Better for you for this one is to start with abstraction is one of the core OB principles. This. And then abstraction helps us to hide complex part of the code, where you can only see what it does instead of how it does. Yeah, this is the answer. All right.
It can show only essential features, right? It can show parts of.
And how many ways do we have to achieve abstraction? What do you think? This question is for you. Yeah, how many ways are there to achieve abstraction?
We also talked about this one.
For example, there are 2 ways to achieve polymorphism. What are the ways to achieve polymorphism? These are override and overloading. Yeah. For abstraction, there are also 2 ways.
It's abstract classes and interfaces.
And interfaces, yeah, abstract classes and interfaces. And you know, during the real interviews, like as I expect about the OOP, you might be giving questions like when they give you some coding problem, and then you solve this coding problem successfully, and then after that coding problem solved, they might give you like a list of maybe 4 questions, maybe about Java, but mostly they're not gonna ask you about Java in the interview, because Java is something that you should know, like 1 + 1 or 2 + 2. They will focus on tools that you're gonna learn. Okay, so there are 2 ways: abstract class and interface. Next, when do you use abstract class? What, like, when do you use abstract class? Yeah.
Parent class?
We use it as a parent class, yeah. Okay. We use it when we need to. When we need to achieve multiple inheritance, we use interface, not abstract classes, yeah? For example, when you need to group something, group, simplify, to create plan of something in the abstract class. It could be vehicle, and then those bike, car, and other classes. So when you create vehicle, you have one structure for your subclasses. This is how you simplify everything. Then in the abstract class, you create only functionalities, like what it does, and then how it does, the implementation, the code we create in the subclasses, all right, what makes an abstract class abstract class? What makes it different from a regular class? Abstract methods, yeah. What's the difference between abstract method and a regular method?
An abstract method, they're not implemented or not body.
There is no body, there is no implementation, yeah. And where's the implementation for that abstract method?
Implemented in child class.
In the child classes, yeah, in its child classes. Okay. Can we create an instance of abstract class?
No.
No, it's a rule, yeah. Abstract is something that doesn't exist. It's not an object. So it cannot be instantiated. Can we have constructors in the abstract class? Yeah, we can have. Why? We have in the abstract class a constructor, but we cannot use it to create an object. When do we use that constructor in the abstract class?
Because of subclass being hired from another class.
Mm-hmm. Constructor is used to create objects, yeah? But we have constructor in the abstract class and we cannot create its object. Then why do we need that constructor? So in the abstract class, we have properties, yes, string name, int age, common properties, yeah? And constructor is used only to initialize them. So in the vehicle, you might have string brand, int year, and then double price, and then subclasses. In the subclasses like car and bike, will we create brand, model, year, price again? No.
No.
Yeah, so to initialize those properties in the parent abstract vehicle class, we use constructor. Constructor is used only for initialization for abstract classes. All right. Is it true that whenever you create an abstract class and when you inherit abstract class or interface, you're gonna have a contract with that abstract class or interface?
Yes, it's true.
And it's a contract between what? What does this contract mean?
Between interface and subclass.
Yeah, it forces them, yeah? It forces them to implement them, those abstract methods. How can you make this multiple inheritance in Java? How can you achieve multiple inheritance?
To create multiple interfaces.
Interfaces, yeah.
So we can have multiple interfaces. And then what's
Between names of interface.
all right, so what inherits what? What is it? Is it interface inherits interfaces, or class inherits interfaces, or interface inherits classes?
Classes implemented.
Classes implement interfaces, yeah, and then we separate them by comma. Okay. So do we need to specify these abstract methods abstract in the interface?
No, it's by the
Yeah, by
They're
default.
by default public abstracts, yeah? Yeah. And can we create inside the abstract class properties, variables, instance variables?
yes, you can.
Yes.
Okay, how about interfaces?
No.
No.
Methods.
We can have properties. Do you remember?
Mm.
Public, they are always public static final. Public static final.
It's not changed.
No,
yeah.
no
If
constructors,
it's already created variables, it's not changed.
They are not changed. They'll never change. This public static final means something that cannot change. There are we have in this world some numbers that should never change, such as number p, which is 3.14. It never changes. So in Java, it's public static final. And maybe we have force of gravity or something like this. It's 9.8 and it also doesn't change. We have something like number energy and it also has some value, but it's never gonna change. So these values are specified as public static final, something that doesn't change. All right, what's the difference between why do we need abstract class and why do we need interface? Is it true that in both of them we can have abstract methods?
Yes.
Yeah. So if we can have abstract methods there and there, why do we need
In abstract method,
one of
we
them?
have also regular method.
Okay. Actually,
Interface,
starting from Java 8 version, you can note it for yourself. Starting from Java 8 version, we can have regular methods as well in the interface. We can have, but mostly we create abstract methods. Starting from Java 8, we can have regular methods as well in the interface. Yeah. So why do we need interface or why do we need abstract class if we can use only abstract class to achieve abstraction using abstract methods? We can even have properties. It's even more powerful.
with their methods, yeah, we need exactly use all of methods inside of abstract class. In interface, we can use several interfaces and can use several abstract methods.
Do you remember this? When we had animal abstract class and that animal was able to hunt,
Fly.
walk, fly, maybe eat as well, yeah? And
Yeah.
then that abstract class was inherited by dog, bird, and butterfly. For dog, it's not gonna work because dog cannot fly. Butterfly cannot hunt. In that case, abstract class is not something that we should use. We need to go for interfaces. We can have one interface for butterflies only, for animals that can fly, and one for dog. And then when it comes to let's say eagle is able to hunt and at the same time fly. So eagle can implement two interfaces, yeah? Two of them. Okay. Can abstract class implement interface? Like, can abstract class be on the bottom of interface? Abstract class implements interface. Is
No,
it doable?
no.
Yeah, it's doable. Yeah. So both of them are abstracts, yeah? Which one is more abstract? Interface? Interface, yeah. So it's on top. And then next thing, when both of them are abstracts, we don't have this contract. So if you have interface and just regular class inherits that interface, will Java force you to implement that method?
I think that
No, when you have interface and regular class, you implement that interface, will Java force you
yes,
to implement that method? Will it be red line? It
force
will be.
them.
It will be. But when you have abstract class and interface relationship, you won't be forced because both of them are abstracts. Yeah. All right. Can interface have a constructor?
no.
No.
No, it cannot, yeah. It cannot have. So let me write for you here. So starting from Java 8, what Java version do you use, guys, right now? 21, 22, yeah? So starting from Java 8, interfaces can have default methods. Defaults are regular methods. And then static methods. Starting from Java 8. All right. And I'm not sure, but you might be asked this question. What's the difference between Java 8 and Java 21? Or they might ask you, which Java version do you use in your current project? Yeah. And like most popular ones are Java 8, 11, 17, and 21. 8, 11, 17, and 21, they are still stable and they are supported. They are supported. For example, Java 10 is not supported. Is not supported. So if there are some new things, they're not gonna add it to version 10. And I believe Java 8 version is supported till 2030. After 2030, Java 8 won't be supported. So it will be Java probably 11, 17, and maybe 27. Okay. Okay. Next. Do you have any questions, guys? Okay. Let's do this, guys. Do you remember this thing? Check if or find most frequent element. Do you remember it?
Yes.
You remember? This we have been doing in the last class, right?
Yes.
Check. Not check. Find the most frequent element from this array list. From this array list. Here 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the most frequent element here? It is 4 because it's repeated 2 times. So let me open IntelliJ IDEA. It was somewhere here. You had here find most frequent. We were doing it at 9:05 or 9:10 p.m. And then I told you to solve it at home on your own. So here I have this array list. What's the most frequent element from this array list?
Sorry?
It's 3. It's 3, yeah. 3, 3, 3. And then you need to write a code to display us number 3. How did you come up with that solution?
We need to use hashmap?
You need to use hashmap, yeah. So you should have this sort of thing. 1 is repeated only once. 2 is repeated only once. Let me make it this way. So 2 is repeated 2 times. 3 is repeated once only. 4 is repeated 3 times. And then 6 and 7 only once. And then you'll need to find the greatest value. The bigger value is, the more frequent element is. So 3. It means 4 is the most frequent element. All right. So we need to use a hash map. Hash map. It's also quite popular problem. So you might be given this, find the most frequent element this way, or you might be given this. Hello. What's the most frequent character in this string?
L.
L. So you might be given this problem. Find the most frequent character and you should return L. So this I have it from last class, which is day 55. Hash map of, what should be the hash map? The values, data types for this hash map.
Integer.
Integer and integer, right? Integer and integer. Map, new hash map. Okay. What does this integer on the left mean? The key and the value. What will be the key? What will that key represent?
Element.
So it represents element. It represents element, and the value represents
Second integer.
second integer, which is this is
Yeah, frequency.
frequency, yeah. So this is element. This is number of times it's repeated. It's frequency. 2 is repeated 2 times. Its frequency is 2. 3 is repeated only once. 4 is repeated 3 times. So its frequency is 3. So key is element. Value is its frequency. How many times we should enter the entry with key 1 if we have here 2 ones? Let's say we have already 1. Now I need to enter one more time 1 and 1, or how should it go? We need to check always. Always, when you add something, you should check. Do we have already 1 in the map? Yes, we have it. If you have it, then we need to just increase its value. If you don't have this 9, then you need to add a new entry. So what do we do?
We need to check each element. I mean, and
We need to use for loop with which data structure, Claudia, with map or with list? What should we iterate over? So we need to find numbers from map or from list. Map is empty. There are no elements. We have now elements only in the list. Only in the list. So here we have list. It's an input. Input with this elements. So here we iterate over. Do we need to use for loop or for I loop? Which loop should be used?
For loop.
Let's check. We can use any of this. We can use for I and for as well. Map that for. It's list that for. Okay. Next. What do we do next? So we have this. Now we have, let's call this data structures as containers. How many containers do we have at the moment in the method, inside the method? How many containers do we have?
2.
2. List and map. Which one of them is empty as
Map.
of now?
Map.
Map is empty. So let's say we have here 2. One of them is map. The other one is list with these elements. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 4, 5. Okay, this one is list. Next, what will this for loop do right now?
Check.
It just iterates, yeah? So we need to check. How do we check this first element? What should be done in that check?
If it contains some.
If this one is in the map, is it in the map?
No.
It's not there. So how do we check it? If
Map
if one is in the map.
list dot equal, no? Map dot
Map that contains, we store this 1, 2, 3 elements as keys or as values?
is
As keys, contains key. And then how do we get 1 or 2 or 3?
index.
I.
We just write here I. I will be 1, then I will be 2, I will be 3, and so on. All right, if map contains key. If map contains 1, what should we do? If map contains 1.
We should put them in the map.
There are two ways here. We have this I and we don't have this I. So if we have that I already in the map, what should we do? So let's do this. Do we have this one in the map?
No.
No, we can do like any of the steps. We can begin with this, or we can begin with this. What should we do if map already contains that key? We need to replace. Replace what? We should do some update. Okay, which one is responsible for case when map doesn't contain I, doesn't contain 1? Else statements.
Else.
What do we do if map doesn't contain 1?
Map dot
Yeah. So which value from this for loop represents this 1, then 2, then 3, 3, 3, then 2, then 4, then 5? Which value represents it? It's I. At first, I is 1, then it's 2, then it's 3, then it's 3, then it's 3. So in the else, okay, else is responsible for what?
or false.
If we don't have it, yeah? So if we don't have it, then we need to put it. So we put into the map, I is element. And then on the right, we have its frequency. If it never existed here, if we never had it in the map yet, and we put it first time, then its frequency is 1, right?
1.
Never had it before there. This if checks which case, guys?
If it's true. Something.
This one covers case when map
Okay.
already contains that 1. If already contains, then we can use replace. We can use put as well. What's the difference between replace method and put methods?
Replace updates.
Replace only update. Put updates and
Change.
inserts as well.
Insert.
Inserts. Map put I. What should be here on the right? If you already have that I. If map already has this I key, then we should replace the existing entry and then here, what should be here? How do you write this? Like this way +1 or I +1? I +1? Okay, so next, let's call this method here in the main. And then I pass this list. And then will we be able to run our code right now?
No.
No, because it's int and it should return only one value. The idea of this method is to return frequent element, which is 3, most frequent. But as right now, I'll just make it void. I'll print this map. So let's take a look at this map. So we have 1, 1, 2, 3. 3 is repeated. It says 4 times. It says 2 is repeated 3 times. It says 4 is repeated once. 5 is repeated once. Is it true that 2 and 3 are repeated 3 and 4 times? This one is
No.
wrong.
Wrong.
So which line should be changed? Which line should be updated?
18.
Line 18. When you replace, it should be not I plus 1. We should get the existing value that we have. It is get I existing value and then plus 1. So now it's 2. 2 times 3. 3 times and 4. 1 time and 5 1 time.
Sorry, +1 represents what's in the line 18? Could you please explain?
So if we already had this 1, or when we reach this element, which is 3, 3 is already in the map with frequency 1. So when you reach the second 3, map already contains 3. So we do map replace 3, and then we take the value of existing entry with 3, it's 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. If we have here 3, then it will be map replace 3, map get I will return us.
3 plus
It will
1,
return 3, yeah, and 3 plus 1.
4.
Because to reach this 3, you have already in the map entry with key 3 and value 3 when you reach this 3. But was it something that should be returned for this task? No. Yeah. So let's take a look at here. Map, guys, in map. What should be always unique in the map? Key, yeah. Do you know any data structure that should be always unique?
Set.
Sets. So here on the, actually, guys, you have this. On the right, you have something like set of integers. So here you have set of integers. It means everything is unique there. We can do this. We can get from map this. If you call this key set method, it will return you, guys. It will return you map key set. How do I know what data type it returns?
Integer data type.
It returns not integer. It returns us, if we hover all over here our mouse, it returns data type set of k. It's something like set of integers. If I make a right click, and if I click introduce local variable, it will create set of integers. And I can check what I have inside that integers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is it? It's those unique keys. So method key set returns us what?
Unique key.
Set of
Set.
keys, yeah. Set of our keys. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there is one more method, values. Do you remember from that hierarchy, picture of hierarchy of collections? Collection is on top of list. List is on top of array list. So if we take a look, So collection is a parent for array list, not directly through list interface. Collection is parent for array list. So here, key set method returns what?
Unique keys.
It returns set of integers in this case, or set of keys. So map values here returns us map dot values method returns us what?
Helps.
List of
But
integers or list of values. And if I will do this, if I display the values, what will it display right after this line?
Frequency?
Their frequency, yeah, their values. So as we can see, 2 is repeated 2 times, 3 is repeated 3 times, 4 is repeated once, 5 once. If I add here one more 3, here we have 4. So right now, how do you find this? Do we need this key set, guys, to find the most frequent element?
Yes.
We need this sets as well. So how can you do, guys? Now you have hash map. In the hash map, you have this. You have 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, and 5, 1. Now you need to find the biggest frequency. If you find it, then you return the key. You have it.
So we need to find from values, right? That means
Let's say you found that value. Which value is it?
4.
4. Then how can you get this 3?
Index maybe?
Set doesn't have indexes.
I said that. Then keys, by using key.
All right, we have here keys. We could do this, guys. We could do this. So we have 1. 1 represents which value in the map? 1 represents
1.
1. 2 represents 2. 3 represents 4. So here, in order to use this map with a for loop, what do you write in the for each loop here? We write map dot entry of integer and integer, and then e. And then on the right, we put that data structure. Let me check. So here, it should be, let's check. Map that entry. Okay, in the statement, it should be e of the type integer. Right, let's quickly check. In Java. All right. We do this. Map that var original to type integer and integer. Okay. For each might not work for with this integer and integer. Then how do we iterate this? Right, let me check here. how to create map of integer. So here it will return. Oh yeah, it should be this way, guys. If you remember, I just didn't use it. Don't use it a lot. So here, E. If we run this, E will have two things. E is an entry. We just forgot. So to use map with a for each loop, you should have this map entry, integer, and on the right, map entry set. So here, next, what we do? We have here 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1. Next, we need to find int max. We need to find int key max, which is negative value, and then value max, which is
It's
one.
-1.
Yeah, it could be even 0, but this
Okay.
is what I think. Okay, next. If E dot get value is
Great.
greater than value max, then we assign to key max the key, and then to value max we assign the value. All right, let me just check here one more thing. Key max. All right, the most frequent element is 3. Let's check one more thing. If I add here a lot of 4s, the most frequent element is 4. Okay. So here, if we display this e's, it displays us 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 5, 1. Okay. Imagine, guys, I have two containers. This for loop displays us. How do we call this, guys? This, what I selected. We call it key and value, or in one word, we call them entries. Entries, okay. Imagine we have here entries, and this, with this for loop, we can display this even keys and values separately. We can do here get key, and then get value, e get key and e get value. It displays 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1. I can do here even something like this. Okay, so key 1, value 1. So element 3 is repeated 4 times. Imagine I have two containers. Now I check the first entry. I have one container, its name is value max. Its value is -1. So which one is bigger, value max or value 1? Value 1 is bigger because value max is -1. So I assign to value max, let's say I write here key max equals to some value and then value max. Value max right now is -1. Let's say we are on this iteration. Which one is bigger? Value of first entry or value max? Value of first entry. So I assign here value 1, and I assign to key max 1. right now, I think that 1 is the most frequent element. I think. Next. Its next element. Element 2 is repeated. How many times?
Twice.
It's repeated 2 times. Yeah, twice. So now value max is 1 at this moment. We check it with the value of 2. Which one is greater? Value max that we have or value of this 2? Value of 2. So I assign to value max 2 and to key max 2. I will need this key max. I'll need this key max. I don't need at the end this value max. I'll display key max. Next. So right now, value max of key 2 is bigger or value of 4? Value
4.
of is 4. So I assign here 4 and I assign to key 3. Next, when it's next iteration, 4 is bigger than 1. So I'm not going to assign new values. And again, 4 is bigger than 1. It means 3 is repeated 4 times. 3 is the most frequent. And it's achievable if you write here, if you implement this logic, if value max is less than the value of some entry. If -1 is less than 1, then we assign to key max and value max new values. Key max is equal to, we take from that entry E key and value from that entry. And then at the end, I can display key max, I can display value max, but we don't need value max. 3 is the element, 4 is the frequency. I don't need frequency. I need to find the element, most frequent element. Okay. So this is the solution for find most frequent. Here, sorting, I believe, will not work.
Sorry, can I ask one question? On the line 23,
Mhm.
the map dot entry set, it's that entries, right? With keys and values.
Yeah, if in array list we have only integers,
Mhm.
that's why we write just integer I. Here in the map we have,
2 values,
and
right?
we could do something like this even. Like there are entries. One entry has integer key and integer value. And then to get those entries, you write here
Mhm.
map.entry set. Return me those entries.
For example, with the word hello, when we need to find frequency letter L, it will be string and string integer, right?
It will be string and integer, right? First, you will need to then create there from that string. Yeah, it will be this. It will be, for this for loop, it will be characters I and then your list. And then here you use for I. We need to change it to make it applicable for your problem, yeah. But
Mhm.
like what you explained, it's like 100% correct. It will be entry, character, and integer. In hello, L is most frequent. All right, so I'm sending it to you here in this Slack. This one was your home assignment. from last Friday. Next. Have you ever guys seen some keyword private while you have been creating these classes? Have you ever encountered a keyword private or public? Which
Yes.
one you have?
Pub,
Public.
Yeah.
Public, yes. So let's learn this thing. This public, private, they are called, we call them access modifiers. So here in Java, guys, we have 4 access modifiers: default, private, protected, and public. We have default, private, protected, and public. All right. So if you look at this, guys, 4, what do you think? Which one is most restricting one?
Private.
protected.
Private. Private access modifier is the most restricting. The most public one is public. If it's public, it's accessible anywhere. Let's do this. Create package called day57. Create package called day57. All right, so day57. Inside the day57, let's create a package called access modifiers. Access modifiers.
Package?
Package. In the day57 package, another package, access modifiers. Okay, out of these 4 access modifiers, most used 2 are public and private. Least used 2 are default and protected. So let's create in this day57 access modifier some class called, let's call it class A. Class A, let's create here 2 classes, class A and class B. Okay. Next, let's do this, guys. Here in the class A, we'll do this. Create int default number, and then int public number, and then private int private number, and then protected int protected number. So we have here four access modifiers. We have here default, but you don't need to write default. It will already be there. So when you do not specify the X modifier, it is default. The one that you use is default modifier. All right. Next, guys, inside this access modifiers, inside the access modifiers, let's create here one more package inside the access modifiers. Create here a package called, let's call it inner package. So inside the access modifiers, we have inner package. All right, did you create this inner package, class A and class B? Next, let's guys move to class B. Move to class B, and here in the class B, let's create here main method. Let's create here main method. All right, let's create here, guys, an object of class A, new A. Here we have an object of class A. All right, and I have my first question. Is it true that, guys, this class B and class A are in the same package? Yeah, and what's the name for that package? Access modifiers. Okay, so it's true. All right, as we check here, this default. All right, let's go here and let's do this. Just write here A, and let's see what are the properties we can access from here. We can access default, protected, and public. All right, we can see here private. So let's just access all of them. Let's do this. System out print line, system out print line A protected, system out print line A public. A default, A protected, and A public. So next thing, guys, we can access 3 of them: default, protected, and public. And let's learn why we cannot access here private access modifier. So from this table, we can see that default, if something is default, it's accessible from the same class. It's accessible in the same package. It can be accessed in the different package. No. Can be accessed in the different package. No. All right. Private is something that can be accessed only in that class. So let me show you. All right. Which property is private here, guys? Private number. Public some method. All right. We can use this variable only inside the class A. I can access here private number. Right here. Private number can only be accessed inside the class. Can we access it? What do you think? Outside of this class? The answer is no. So private is accessible only inside the class. Very quick question. If I create here private string name, will you be able to access this field, this variable, in other packages or in other classes? No.
No.
This string name can be used only inside this B class. It can be used somewhere here. Public void method and name. It can be used here. So when it's private, you can access it only inside the class. inside the class. When it's protected, you can access it in the same class, in the same package subclass. All right, we'll learn it, this subclass. We can access it in the same package, non-subclass. All right, let's take a look. A and B, are they parent and subclass classes?
No,
No, they're not related. So here, which one, guys, applies to this? How can we access this default number from A? It is because of same package, but they're not subclasses. If they were subclasses, then we could also access it. When it's public, you can access it anywhere. You don't need to care about where you can access it or where it's not accessible. When it's protected, it's almost like public. It's almost like public.
They're saying
Almost like public. But we have this, if they are in different packets, if they're in different packets, when we can access the fields only if they are subclasses. Like, doesn't matter how many times I'm gonna show you right now examples, but you won't be able to fully understand this protected. For me, it was the same. Only when I looked it up myself, opened some website and copied their code, I still didn't get that. When I created it like few more times, that time I got it. So most used ones are public and private. Public and private. What do you think? Can we access, for example, this class? What's the access modifier of this class?
public.
Public, yeah. Look, I can do this. I have here some other package only for myself, only for me. So here, test. Is it true that this test is in the other package? How about this test? Test and class A, are they both in different packages? So I can access here
Same
an
package.
object of A. I can, but let's take a look. Right now, I cannot call here this variable. I can only access which variable? Public variable. Public, F means field. I can access only public, yeah, public number. I cannot access here private, definitely, because it's private. It can only be accessed within the same class. We cannot access default. Why? Because default is accessible only when it's
Same package.
when it's that A class within the A class, or when it's the same package. When it's two different packages, it's not accessible. Private is only when it's the same class. All right.
But test
How
and A in the same package, no?
No.
No,
Test
not.
and A and B, they are both in different packages.
Oh, okay.
This one, inner package, these two are inside the access modifiers. Here, protected number. We cannot access protected number. Let's take a look why. We cannot access it when it's different package and they are both non-subclasses. They're non-subclasses. So let's try. Test. Is it subclass of A?
No.
No. So it's not a subclass. I cannot access here protect, but what I could do is this. If I extend this test to A and then create here an object of test, I can access it through inheritance. Here, now I have here protected number. So protected, fields and methods, they're accessible when it's different package, but there should be inheritance subclass relationship. But you don't need to care about this different package subclass. What you should understand right now is private and public only. Private and public. So look, here in class B, what do you think? Can I call this method some method? What do you think? Right here, a dot some method. It's accessible. It's accessible because it's public. What if I make it private, guys?
No, then
It's not accessible. What if I make it protected? All right. Yeah, because they are both in the same package.
it's
Protected works for the same package. Both subclass, not subclass, it works. When it comes to this, what's the access modifier? When you do not specify, when you don't specify, it's default. It is default. So when it's default, it is still accessible. It's still accessible because both of them are in the same package. They're in the same package. A and B, they are both in the same package. If I make it private, it's not accessible. If I make it public, it is accessible. So look, if I make this variable public, will we be able to access it here when you create here an object? Actually, this could be not just, it could be main. So here in the main method, we create an object of A. For us, here we need to understand where this main method is. This main method is inside the class main, and this main class in the same package with class A. So they're in the same package. We can access default properties, protected properties, public, but never private. Now, why we can access this private variable? Because we changed the access modifier. When it's private, it's not accessible. Oh, you're right. So here, if we make this method private, this method is also not accessible. And why do we need this X modifiers? To create some sort of layer. Like if you would like to make some method or variable be accessible only by specific classes, it could be by only subclasses. There you go, you can use this protected. With this 4 access modifiers, you can have some sort of security. It's not real security, but you can make, for example, this protect number. What do you think? Can I create an object of A somewhere in day 37? Somewhere here.
Yes.
Let me try. Here in day 10, what do you think? In day 10 package, can I create here an object of A class?
No.
Yes, because public class, I can create it. If this class is, let me try protected. So protected doesn't work for classes. Let's try this class A. Now it's not accessible because it's default. When it's default, it's accessible only within the same package. The same. I don't think we can do private classes. If we do it private, why we need it? It means it's not useful. So if this is private, then you can never call this class A. For example, here, it's not private class right now because Java is not letting me to make it private. But if it was private class, it means it's accessible only within this class. Then you cannot use it in other classes. Classes, they should be accessible. Mostly we make them public. So it's accessible here. What about this? Can we access here in this main method, which is in package day 10? Can we access here through this object public number?
Oh, yes.
A public number, it's accessible. How about this method? Some method, it's not accessible. This method. How about default number value?
Yes.
They are both in different package, so it's not accessible. How about this protected?
No.
No, there is no subclass relationship. The only one we can access is public. We can access here protected because it's the same package. Default because it's the same package. We cannot access private. So right now, guys, let's have 15 minutes of break. Then we continue to our new topic. Move to our new topic, which is encapsulation, fourth principle. All right, online students, can you hear me?
Hello, yes.
All right, let me quickly also make a roll call here. Okay. She's not here, not here. All right. All right, guys. So, what's the difference between private and public X modifier?
Can access in different sections.
Public makes the access. Public makes things such as field, method. It makes them accessible anywhere. We can use this public, guys, not only with properties. We can use it with methods. We can use it with classes. So if I ask you where you can apply this access modifiers, how do you answer? Where you can apply this access modifiers? What can be public? What can you make public, private?
Methods, class.
Methods, classes, properties. Where you can apply this public, you can apply it with class, you can apply it with property, you can apply it with method. And it creates a layer. It creates a layer. If you don't have access to that layer, you cannot access those properties. It limits the access. So it limits the access, and in this principle called encapsulation, we should use X modifier called private. All right, encapsulation, guys, it's one of 4 principles from OP where you combine this properties and methods into one unit. You make them one unit. It will restrict you from direct access. You want, with encapsulation, you will make all of your properties. For example, what are the properties in the car class? What could be the properties of car class?
Brand name.
Brand, model, all
Model.
of them from now on, all of them will be private. All of the properties will be private. So it kind of hides your properties from one class so that you can access them only from methods. You can think of it like a capsule where you combine this both. Let me just quickly find this capsule. It's right here. We combine this methods and variables into a single unit. Okay. So you can think of it as a medicine. You combine. Encapsulation works similarly by hiding the internal workings. If I close it, will you be able to know what's inside of this? What colors are there? Probably no. It could be purple and black if it's closed, and if it's a bundle of 2 things, we don't know what are those 2 things here. So from now on, when you always create a class, whether it's person class, car class, library class, book class, all of your properties will be private. All of them. Private string name, private int age. So how does encapsulation works? How can we implement encapsulation? All of your variables should be private. Variables are declared as private. When you make them private, is it true that we cannot access them directly? We can access this private, guys, this one, using some method. Some method access this private variable. Then I can use this method, this some method, to access this private number. But I cannot access this private number directly. I can access it through this method right here. It's part of encapsulation. So you make your fields private. You cannot access them directly. We use methods. We have two types of methods in encapsulation. It's getters and setters. Both of them are public. Here we have two variables, two properties, name and age. And we have two getters and two setters. Getters and setters. Get name, set name. Get age, set age. So we use these public methods, getter methods and setter methods to access properties and to assign new values. We can do it using constructor as well. So let's do this. Let's create in this 57, day 57. It should not be inside the access modifier package. So this class should not be inside the access modifier package. Let's do this. Let me see how we can do it. We can make this, I think we can remove it and move to package day 57. So first create this package, not package, class person. Here, create this class person, and then we will move it to day 57 package. All right, did you all create this person class first? Yeah? All right, next, how we'll move it? We remove this part, remove it, so we have only day 57. And now there is a red line. It's telling that this class in wrong place. Make a right click and then move it. So we have this, remove this, make a right click here, and then move to package day 57. All right. So from now on, we always make our properties in classes private. Some of them will be public, but most of the, we call them behavior, and it could be state. All of the state members, they will be private. All of the properties that belong to person objects, they will be private. It could be string name. Name is something that belongs to person objects. The other thing, age, and it could be gender as well. All right, let's do this. We'll create here in the day. All right, not there. Let's do this. We'll create here a main method inside the person. It's doable. We'll have only one class, person class. We're not gonna create class car, class book. We'll create only one. That's why we can create this main here in the person. So let's create here one person object. Person, new person. So here, we call, guys, this properties, this methods properties and methods, they can be called as members of class A. This one is a member of class A. This one is also a member of class A. All right, here we can access age, name, and gender. Why, guys? Why we can access age, gender, and name?
Because it's within the same class.
Because it's the same class. Even it's private. Main is in the person class inside it. That's why we can access it. So let's make this name, then system out print line person age, then gender. All right. So we can access it because they are both in the same class. Now let's do this. We'll create here in the person class. Here in the person class. Let me try one thing. If I create here class, let's this. We'll create here in the day 57 another class called person main. Class called person main and a main method. And then here we create one more object of person class. And now guess, guys, will we be able to access here those properties?
No.
No, we cannot, because now it's different class. It's not the same class. It's the same package, but different classes. Here it's the same class. That's why we can access it. So then how do we use those name, age, and gender properties? So here we learn this thing called getters and setters. So using these getters and setters, we'll have this access. This is another layer. And this getters and setters, this method, you can think of this method as one, as encapsulation of variable and a method. You're making a capsule of a variable and a method. You're creating a single unit. Let me do this. Here in the person class, we can create this method. Public. All right, instead of creating it, let me show you one shortcut. Make a right click, generate getter and setter, select all, and then OK. Make a right click, generate getter and setter, select all of them. How do you select all? Use Control A or Command A. And now we have here getters and setters. So here we have, how many getters do you have?
3.
3.
Yeah. So here we have 3 getters, 1 per 1 variable. Setters 3, 1 per 1 variable. Let's move back to person main. Let's go back here and then let's use these methods. We can call these methods, guys. Do you know why we can call them? Because they are public, yeah? If they were private, if this method was private, we won't be able to access it here as long as it is public, it's accessible here. All right. Is it true that this person object is empty? There is no name, age, and all right. These setters are used to assign a value. They're used to assign a value. Let's set here a name. Mike. Set here age 54. And here set gender, male. All right. Next, so here we have two types of methods. We have setters and we have getters. Setters are used to set a value to name or to age or to gender. All right. Another question. If I do this now, if I run it, it displays me the address of that person object. How can I make it to display me, guys? Name, age, and gender if I do this. Without get method, if I do only this.
To string method, right?
It's to string method. To string method. Where do we create these two string methods?
We can create inside the person class.
It should be created inside that class. So we can create here public that returns string to string. And then, is it true that this method is some method that comes from object class? Is it true that we have on top of this person class another parent class? What's that parent class for person? What's the parent for person? It is object class. So here, when you write public string to string, it tells you that you already have this class in the object parent class. And right now you're doing overriding. It is overriding. Return name, age, and gender. All right. So now if I run it from this main method, Mike 54 male. All right. We can do this, or we can use these methods. Person dot get name. This method, guys. Let's take a look at this method here. Get name method. Is it a returning type method or a void type method? It's a returning type method. It returns us string. How about this get age? Is it a returning type method?
Yes or no?
Yes, it returns.
Integer.
How about this get gender? It's a returning type method. It returns. So from here we can learn this. All getters are returning type methods. How about the setters? All setters are void. Because we assign something, we don't need to get it back. But these getters, they return. To access that property, it returns. So get gender. So here first, let's make it get name. Then get age. And then get gender. All right, if we run this main method, now here we see Mike, here 54, and here male. So using this get name, we can access those properties. Can we access those properties just writing directly their names, like name?
Yes. No, get.
No. No, yeah, because all of them are privates. They're private. It's called encapsulation. When you create a capsule of a method and a variable, like method and variable. And what do you think? Is it true that all setter methods take as a parameter something? Yes, they accept the parameter. SetName accepts string, setH accepts int, setGender accepts string. All right. So also, let's try this. What do you think? Can a person have a negative age,
No.
like minus, like he has 50 more years till he turns 1? No, it's not possible. So we can do this, guys. Within this set h method, we can create here a logic. We'll do this. If I do this, guys, system out print line I h, I have this logic right now. If I go back here and if I run, what will it display for if I do this? If I run this code, what will it display? Nothing. So let's take a look. Set h method displays hi, h, and then assigns. All right, let's take a look. It displays us hi minus 54. H is given here. How do we call this case? Mike, negative 54, male. How do we call it? Its value. In other words, it is. No, assignment is done inside the method. For example, this one is a parameter. This one is argument, yeah. So argument is given here from main method. Then in the set h, this encapsulation gives us this power. We can make here validation. We can validate if this h is real h or not. What do you understand by real h? What is real h for you? Some number that
Positive numbers?
positive number, right? It starts from 1. So we can do if h is greater than 1, then we assign this h. If it's not greater than this h, we display system out print line h is not valid h. So using this encapsulation, before setting something, before assigning, we can do some checks, some validation. If we didn't have this set h method, first get it done, then I'll show you what would happen if we didn't have this set h. All right. So if I go back here, if I run it, it displays me 54 is not valid h. if I do this, then nothing is displayed. Why? Because we didn't tell to display something if it's valid age. If it's valid age. What would happen if we didn't have this set method? If we didn't have this encapsulation? Let me show you. If this was just int age, we would assign this age using this or this. We cannot make here some validation. Or we could have, if it is something like this, we would check if age is, and then this. But if you create here 5-person objects, then you would need to do this if age 5 times. But here with this encapsulation, you can do it only once inside this setter. And then every time you set this age, it will check before assigning. If I create here one more person object like this, also guys, I learned something very I knew it, but I just forgot. This is very helpful shortcut, might be. So look, I want to change this person, and this person to person 1. Look, you do this, and then you write this, and all of them are changed. So you can do it using, let me check, what's that key? Windows keyboard. So you have here, okay, it's, I believe it should be Alt. It should be Alt plus Shift.
How
Alt
about
plus Shift.
Mac?
For Mac, it's Option Shift.
First, we need to highlight, right?
No, no need to highlight. You click here, and then Option Shift or Alt Shift, and then you click here and here. You can do this and this and this, and then here it will add. We're able to change all of these lines at once.
So we press Option and that's it?
Option and Shift.
Shift. Okay.
Option. Here it's person 2.
You don't need to highlight it.
No need to highlight it. How about you? Did it work for you? Alt Shift. Yeah. It's not something that you need to know, but that's right. You see? And it changes all of the lines. You see? Alt and Shift. Okay. So if I run it, it's not displaying me not valid age. If I do here -54 and here -5, it displays me 2 times this. But I didn't create here 2 times if else. I created this if else once only inside this setter. Inside this setter. And then for set gender, we could create similar thing. Similar thing. Right. Are you done, guys, with this second object? Person 1 and person 2. I just then change it to -54, yeah? All right. So what if we do here this? Some not exist. If we type here some wrong gender, what if we type here laptop? Do we have this kind of gender? Laptop.
No.
So we can do the same. We can make this validation here inside this set gender. What kind of validation we can make here?
Equal, like if
We can check if gender is male or female, yeah? If
yeah,
gender equals to male, without the setters, we wouldn't be able to do it. We would need to create this if multiple times here for person 1 and then for person 2 again. If gender equals to male or gender equals to female, then assign it. Otherwise, not valid gender. Somebody could sue us, right, for this. Okay. And then if we run it, it displays 54 is not a valid age, not valid gender, laptop. But I think if somebody thinks they're laptop, there could be a laptop gender in the US because people can identify themselves as they want. Okay. So here for laptop, it displays this. All right. So let's get back to this presentation. Why do we need encapsulation? To protect, actually, it's not like real security, but just to create some layers. And using encapsulation, we can make this checks validations. And then if some property is private, it won't be accessible in other places. It could be protected. Then this get age is accessible only within the package and by its subclasses. So main reason of encapsulation advantage is like data hiding it from other classes. This data hiding, it prevents, we cannot make direct access, data hiding. Second thing is we can make validations. We can create validation codes in the set methods. Okay, so controlled access. You can make validations, you can make logging. Logging means something that gives you idea that something is done. For example, set age. This is called logging. Age is assigned successfully. If I run it, I'll see here 0 times age is assigned successfully because both of them are wrong ages. Now, age is assigned successfully. Age is assigned successfully here. We see 2 times, and we call it logging. Logging is something like this. When you see message. Let's see from here, logging in IT. This is logging. When you see some information here, or for example here, information. Here I created my own logging. If I set age successfully, I see age is assigned successfully. How many times did we create here objects? Person objects. 2 times. All right, I would like to make this, guys. If I run this code, it creates for me 2 person objects. When object is created, I would like to see person object was created. And then for this one as well, person object was created. How can we do it?
In the get name, in the person class?
No,
No.
if I don't call this, all of them. If I comment this, I should still be able to see this message. Person object was created.
Then new method.
New method, person class. What's the answer? What's something that's called always when object is created?
Constructor.
Constructor.
Constructor is called. So we could create here a constructor. And then it displays person object is created. It also can be called logging because you see that something is done. When you see here in the output or in console that something is done behind, here information about something that's done behind, it's called logging. Person object is created. Person object is created. So logging is something that's happening behind the project. And you see it in something like this console. While logging is used, what do you think, guys? Where logging could be useful? Logging.
For example, in bank transactions.
Yeah,
Like,
bank
this-
transactions, very useful. It also might be useful for some applications. For example, if that application has multiple things inside it. It has notifications, it has other services. One could be for, if we take as an example, Instagram, one could be accounts, the other one could be pictures. There are multiple services. And if one of them will stop, if one of them is not working, what those people who work for that company, what they do, they open probably, they could open some console. They could open some console with all of these logs, and they will look at the last log, and last log might give them idea. Oh, right after this thing, application stopped. Something is wrong here. This is something that creates error. Logging is useful to keep you updated, to keep you posted. For example, here, I don't see what's done there. If I close both of this, if I run it, I'm informed. I can see we created 2 objects. So logging makes you informed. All right. Or you can restrict something. For example, if it's, let's say, voting application, people under 18 cannot vote. So here for set age, you can create this. Age is greater or equal to 18. If it's under 18, we could make is not valid for voting. So we can do this. Can we say, guys, it's restriction? restriction of data. If we don't use this setter, then we can assign any age. It could be 5, it could be 2. But with this set method, now we can restrict specific people from signing up maybe to our application. There won't be people with age 17, 16, 15. All of them will have age of at least 18. All right, guys. So you should learn this: data security, flexibility, controlled access, maintainability. I'll ask you tomorrow. What is it? I'll ask you. I'll ask you this. So when you create the setter method, what it gives you, it allows you to make validation. So here we make validation inside the gender. If it's not male or female, we're not assigning it. It's validation. Or here, restriction. If it's less than 18, we are not assigning that age. So, because that person is not valid. Because that person's age is not enough to be able to vote. All right. Next, encapsulation in action. Let's do this. We are gonna create here in the day 57 another package called bank account. Here package called bank account. Next, inside this bank account package, we are gonna create a class called bank account. Class bank account, there will be 2 fields: account number, balance, deposit, withdraw, get balance, and set balance. So this is class you need to create. Here we have getters and here we have setters. Inside, yeah, it's inside the package day 57.
Account package and bank account class.
Yeah, inside the day 57 package, bank account. What do you think, guys? Here we have 2 methods, deposit and withdraw. Can we call these 2 methods as methods that encapsulate method and variable? Can we call these 2 also kind of or type of encapsulation, these 2? If so, why you can call them like part of encapsulation process?
Maybe because it's like make some data validation, like for example, if
Make- Yeah, we make here data validation, or we use this method to access this balance, to assign there something. So it's also can be part of encapsulation process. And then getter and setter. All right, guys, have you done? Okay. Here, let me copy this to this package, bank account. All right. Here we can call this two as encapsulation, like set methods, because they both update balance. Deposit is performed only if amount is greater than 10, greater than 0. Withdraw is done only when withdraw is successfully performed, guys. This method.
When amount is greater than 0 and amount is less or equal to balance.
Yeah, here we guys we check that amount should be less than our balance. If it's greater than, we are not gonna make this withdraw because we are gonna have insufficient funds. So here in bank account package, let's create here main and let's test these methods: deposit, withdraw, get balance, and set balance. Okay. Main method, and here let's create bank account. New bank account. Next, let's set our initial balance. Set balance. All right. Imagine you're opening an account, bank account, and you're depositing your very first balance. For me, it will be negative 500. What do you think? It's a wrong amount. So as I run this code, it displays me initial balance is invalid. It should be greater than 0. It should be at least 1. If I make it 500, and if I run it, now initial balance is deposited, or initial balance is set. We run it, and then initial balance is set. If we do bank account dot deposit negative 500, will it successfully call this deposit method? Will it successfully call it?
It should be greater than 0.
It should be greater than 0. Otherwise, deposit, there is no deposit. It was just ignored. So when I do this deposit negative 500, how can I display here a message, a log for this method? It should display me, you cannot deposit negative amount.
In the deposit method,
Yes,
In-
set method.
In the deposit method,
Maybe you need to create set method setter.
or else,
else if it's not greater than 0, if it's
less
0
than,
or less, we can display
deposit should
amount
be
deposit
is
be negative value. All right, and if we run it now, we see this message. Let me just add here exclamation mark. Okay, the amount to deposit can't be negative. Next, if we now call here bank account that deposit 5,000. If we call this, if we run it. All right, let's add here one more, guys. Message. If deposit was successful, it displays us amount to amount was successfully
And-
deposited.
Yeah.
Here, deposited
Plus
successfully this
Amount.
amount. Okay. So now we have here one more method, bank account, withdraw. What do you think? Can you withdraw 10,000 right now?
No.
No, let's try. Let's call this method with 10,000, but there is no message. Like it's okay if there's no message, but let's create here a message that indicates that withdraw was failed.
we go to withdraw method.
And then here we add
Else.
else statement. Okay. Here we can do this. Withdrawal failed. Withdrawal failed. And here we see withdrawal failed. Or let me do this. Failed to withdraw plus amount.
We can also add for if, right? Message.
Here, successfully withdrawn plus amount. Okay. So here we have, you can call this all methods as part of encapsulation. What can we call encapsulation? When you bundle together property and a method. Here in all of these methods, we use together this. Inside this method, we use a variable, method and variable, method and variable, method and variable. We make them one unit. Is it true, guys, that all getter methods should be void type? Is it true? Yeah.
No.
No. Re-
They should They should be returning. All setter methods should be void, and they should not accept a parameter, right? No, they should accept a parameter. Void methods. Getter methods should not accept parameters. Setter methods should accept parameters. For getters, there is no. Let's take a look at this example. Here we have person. This one is a private property, so we have a restricted access. Where we can access this name? What are the places that name could be accessed from? From these methods, yeah?
Mhm.
Or within the same class, within this person class. All right, next. The set method takes a parameter new name. It takes a parameter new name and assigns it to name variable. So setters are used to assign values, yeah? So there are two ways. We can use setters or we can use constructor. Constructor. All right, which one will you prefer using? Constructors or setters? For me, constructor, because it's shorter. You do everything within the same line. With setters, you'll need to have 4 or maybe 5 more lines. Set name, set age, set gender. Get method, they always return some value. And get method's name is always get and the property. Okay, next. What do you think, guys? So there's already an answer. Here we have string name. There is a private access. We cannot access this name property directly. We cannot, because it's private. We can access it only using getter or set. All right, let's take a look at the this one. So here we use setter to assign name, and we use getter to get that name. So this get name, is it true, guys, that I can remove the system out print line and assign value of this method to a string? What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah. It's something that you should never, like, you're already like professionals. So here, when you write bank account dot get balance, what's the value returned? It's some number, which is double. So double balance. The same could be done here. Instead of system out print line, I could have here string name assign my object get name. Yeah. All right. Probably this is something that we'll do together tomorrow, because there are lots of steps. All right. Next is this. So get prepared, guys. So probably, let me check for your mock interviews will be next week on, yeah, next week. Next week is already November, yeah, if you didn't know. It's already November, so it's gonna be November 7th, maybe November 8th, Thursday. Yeah, time really flies. In 2 days, it's gonna be already November, in 2 or 3.
So when we will finish the Java course?
Java on right after the mock.
And in your questions, there are also included some behavioral questions. Right?
Yeah, it's not gonna be
That's
only
it-
me.
that's it, right? Only this question you will.
Oh,
ask.
there could be different questions as well. This is, yeah, these questions are given for you just to prepare. Of course, I'm not gonna ask right as it's written here. Otherwise, you already know the answer. I could ask the same question, but from the different side.
The same question. Don't change, don't modify.
Okay.
Sorry,
Right, next.
sorry, can I ask a
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
Like there will be only one question, right, during this mock interview?
No,
No.
I
So
guess.
there will be, let's do this. Probably there will be 40 minutes
Person.
per one person. So, and within those 30 minutes, we'll be giving questions only. And then 10 minutes for one coding problem. Yeah, and 10 minutes doesn't mean you need to solve it in those 10 minutes. It means you'll need to explain how you will solve this problem. And all of those problems you already solved. For example, the one that we had today. What's the name? Find the most frequent. Find the most frequent and other problems. Okay, probably you'll be sent something like this. And then you'll need to type here your names. So it will be probably Google, Chase, Microsoft, or maybe other rooms as well. Next, guys. Next,
Can I ask?
there are also a few little like small topics that we need to cover. It's static keyword. Static keyword. I'll need to make a recap for you for nested for loops. Do you know what's nested for loop? Loop inside
Yes.
another
Loop.
for loop. Static keyword, then probably something called constructor chaining, exceptions, recap of like if only new topics, then these are smaller ones. Okay. So 100%, like right after this Friday and Saturday. I'm not sure if it's gonna be me. I'll ask like maybe tomorrow. But from this Monday, you're gonna start automation. And like 100%. It's something that should be followed. If you don't follow, then you might like fall behind. Within those 6-7 months, you should never party. You should never have parties. You should never have vacations, because it's time for you to change something. You had some question, right?
So until the November 7, we will have cover the Java still, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right after this, you'll still be using Java.
I mean the until the November 7, we will cover the Java topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the 7 November will be the mock interview.
Yeah.
So for example, for me, I have no time for preparing for example.
It's not for preparing. You already learned things, right?
But
It's
you
to
recap everything.
yeah, it's to check your knowledge.
But you need to recap all the from the starting the
Yeah.
Java code.
And this is not for making like you whether you move forward to the automation or not. It's just to check your knowledge. Because if I ask you right now a question like, what's the difference between while loop and for loop? This is something that you should know, right? So there will be this kind of questions. We'll not ask how many data types are there or something like this.
Sorry, I have question. So we officially graduate on February 5, approximately, right?
I'm not sure. This is
Okay.
I think you better address it to Baha
Bye.
Bayke.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, let's work, guys, really hard. It's almost February, really. Like it's November, then 2 months, and then it's New Year 2025. So we'll know each other for 1 year already. So if you, so I think, I don't know, I'm not sure if there are, but there are some people who have, like, I think it's not for you because you still didn't cover automation parts. And at that time when you will study the automation, probably you will start being here more than maybe 4 hours, because you will do some things like LinkedIn, maybe some other things by the end of the course. And you'll be here more than right now. And there could be some people who have interviews. Probably you would be able to attend their interviews or maybe watch from other rooms, like live.
Preparation process.
Yeah. Anyway, you set the goal. Don't change the goal, just change the plan. For example, there could be something like this. So let's say you have applied to some, there could be different things. There could be different things. There could be this thing that I'm gonna tell you. There could be like 100% different thing. So there could be this thing. Let's say you have applied on October 2nd to some company, and then 1 week later you had some recruiter call. Recruiter call is the first touch with the company. And then after that recruiter call, probably you should have interview request. Interview should be scheduled. And then you might get that interview scheduled maybe 4 weeks later, maybe 5 weeks later. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens right away. Next day you're gonna have interview. Sometimes this kind of things happen. Yeah, there was in my experience something like you applied on Tuesday and then on Wednesday you had a recruiter call. On Thursday you have your first interview, and then on Friday or maybe on Monday they do exactly like right away the final. There could be this, or you could wait 5 weeks for your first round. There could be this.
If we, for example, apply,
If you apply,
it will be all right afterwards, sometimes more than.
they may never call you. They may never call you. There are some let's call it this applications. Let's say you find some open role, but that open role could be fake role. Fake role. There are things called fake role you can never know. There are things called fake roles. They are used just to get some information about applicants.
Like scammers.
It's not scammers actually. It's they might hire more people, but maybe 5 or 6 months later.
Yeah, just collecting some for some this position not exists right now, but in the future they.
It might be this, or it might be just for fake. There is something like this. So you apply, you think it's an open role, but then they call you back, and what they say is this: good morning, it's Abhishek calling you from there, and I think they might tell you, I think you know, right? Right now it's like difficult to find a job, so I can help you to find a job. They might do this, yeah. And what you will need to do, you need to pay 10% of your salary, and it's not something like this, like no. So it's very difficult, you know. They are already professionals. They will tell you this. You need to give 10% of your each monthly salary. And if you're gonna be there a full-time person, then you'll be paying like every month until you get fired from there, because it's a contract, it's a law, because you signed something like this.
They might also.
So we should reject that.
They have to
I think, yeah, no need to do. I also had some kind of discourse, but I think this, when you apply and when you have a recruiter call, you have a chance to get offer. Like you have a chance. Like no, I don't mean like with the first call. I mean you have chance to get offer from that company, and it's only from you. you fail it or not fail. But when you get that call, you have a chance to get that offer. No, it's another story. Yeah.
Did you ever heard about the flag? If you failed some interview, they put the flag,
Mm-hmm.
and the next time when you apply it again, they can see your flag and they can not accept your
Application.
application.
I have never heard this. What I know is when you apply and you fail, better if there is open role again with the same company, you better don't apply there for 2 months or 3 months. But they will still have your application. But better you don't apply for 2 or 3 months.
Please, you have to be prepared before the enter the market, because if you are not prepared and you fail those too much interview, you can flag your application.
No,
Unless you're using fake name like William in LinkedIn. And Google
you
can
know,
track
you never know when you are prepared. So you cannot like wait 1 year to get prepared. Like you will fail, you will move to the second round, you will fail. Maybe you have a recruiter call and they never call you back. For example, tomorrow I have something scheduled for 12 p.m. This is exactly that scenario when you had a recruiter call 5 weeks ago, and then they scheduled the interview 5 weeks later. And what do you think? What language I'm gonna or you gonna speak with the interviewers?
English?
English, yeah. So you should not speak Russian language or stick to English language. Yeah, like here when you move within the rooms, when you play table tennis, when you go to kitchen. It's real thing. Like you will see.
Excuse me, after each round, they will tell us if we passed or we didn't pass the round, right? They might not
They
tell.
might not tell you. You'll just be waiting and waiting.
Oh my
But
gosh.
no, I mean, like once the interview is done, they might tell you it takes time for us to discuss with other with other teams. They might tell you this, and then it might be like forever. Or they might get you they might send you some follow-up email like, oh, you're not moving forward. But you will, if no one is sending you that email, you can clarify, you can send them email, and if they're not responding, then probably you got rejected. Or
Okay.
they could respond with thing like, we need few more days, something like this. Yeah, you can ask questions regarding like scenarios. Maybe I can answer
You
them.
can ask when I can get the feedback from you, and they can clarify it for you.
Yeah. Sometimes it might be like this. So you have some final round, and then right after the interview, you don't know, like you got that offer or not, you don't know. But then they might tell you, you might ask you, can you give me feedback, something like this, because you would like to hear it right now. It's like your brain gonna burn while you're waiting, you know. And then they might tell you, we need to have some more days, maybe 3-4 days, and then you're gonna have that answer. But then immediately that day you might get that call with that offer. Like it could also happen. They might tell you wait 4 days, but then after a few more hours they might call you back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have good things coming. Let's see. Like very soon.
So Mary mentioned that we can change your name, but our profile is I think it already saved in their system.
You can use with same laptop like two accounts, like two accounts maximum, but there should be different profiles. Yeah, you know, like when you click this, there will be 4 or 5 profiles, Google Chrome profiles. You can create one Chrome profile for your main and the other one for second one. And you can get another SIM card. And I can recommend you like not going with Verizon. You can get something like this.
Temporary.
Not like you can use it always. I have this kind of SIM card. You can get SIM card without data. There is no internet, but you can have 100 minutes of calls for $7 a month. So it's very useful. Yeah.
So why you pick two profiles?
One for developer, the other one for tester.
Even for the two positions.
For two positions, or you might have two accounts for the same, like
Position.
tester. Yeah, like one.
So why it's
Or we can,
created two profile? Why?
No, you can go with one, but like if you would like to check something to touch the market, you can have second number for this reason. Like before entering.
You can fail all interviews, okay, for the
Yeah.
second profile.
But you could also move forward and you get that offer, but you cannot proceed with them because it's not your name. But actually, no, you can do. You can do.
this.
Right after the offer, you might tell like, this is my legal name, this is my nickname.
So it's okay if you use illegal.
Nickname. Nickname, yeah.
You can say because of scholar.
You can call me not Canarbek, you can call me Joe. And then if my surname is Abdurasulov, you can call me Joe Abdu. Yeah. For you, it could be, I don't know, you already have only 4 letters, yeah? All right, guys, 3 months will be very quick. All right, guys, see you then tomorrow.
It's different question. Have some answers?
No, I don't have answers.
Oh. Yeah. Answers.
It's like, for you mean?
Yes.
For those WhatsApp, you need to come up with your own.
But it's who has really more experience.
It
It sounds more natural.
Yeah, look up from the internet then. You should do something.
But for example, I like Bacha's answer because his answer is really sounds natural than ours.
Mhm.
That's why I like more.
Yeah, you can use his answers then.
But already provide the PDF
The
file.
live texting is sometimes he's pausing, that's why that time we need to answer something, that's why we need to come up with our own answers.
What's your question? Sorry.
I need your, maybe this question without answers. Maybe your
Yeah.
answer is also more useful for us if you have.
Um,
If it's really short and.
Actually, I can actually remove those questions because you should be getting those questions from soft skills instructor.
We have several answers, but Compass is more short and really natural sounds.
Yeah.
Maybe yours also like this one.
Speak English. Speak always English when you get out of this room. When you are in the break, speak English.
Share your answers also if you have.
I don't have really, because I got these questions only from last year. This is something that I prepared last year. Yeah. All right, guys.
Thank
See you
you.
tomorrow, guys. Yep.